The old house creaked and groaned, its weathered bones aching under the weight of a century's worth of secrets. Sarah, a young and curious writer, had rented it for a month, drawn to its eerie charm and the promise of solitude. Night after night, she'd sit at her antique desk, the flickering candlelight casting dancing shadows on the walls. The house seemed to stir with life, a subtle presence that sent shivers down her spine. She'd hear whispers in the wind, the distant creak of floorboards, and the faint tapping of unseen fingers on the window pane. One stormy night, as the wind howled and rain lashed against the window, a strange sensation washed over her. A cold draft, not from the open window, but from within the room. She turned to face the source, her blood running cold. A spectral figure, translucent and otherworldly, stood in the corner. Its eyes, glowing an eerie blue, pierced through her soul. Fear paralyzed her, but curiosity overcame her terror. She reached out a trembling hand, her fingers passing through the apparition. It smiled, a chilling grin that stretched across its spectral face. In that moment, she felt a strange connection, a kinship with the being from beyond the veil. The figure dissolved into thin air, leaving behind a chilling silence. Sarah, her heart pounding, rose to her feet. A sense of peace washed over her, a calm acceptance of the unknown. As she walked towards the window, she saw a reflection in the glass. It wasn't her own, but the spectral figure, smiling back at her. In a chilling twist, she realized she had become one with the house.
Scary Story 3.
The Thompson family was excited to move into their new home, a charming old house with a history. While unpacking, they discovered a dusty, framed photograph tucked away in a closet. It depicted a family eerily similar to their own, smiling in front of the very same house. Intrigued, they hung it on the wall. Days turned into weeks, and the Thompsons felt an unsettling presence growing within their home. Strange noises echoed at night. Shadows lurked just out of sight, but they dismissed it as mere imagination. As the family's unease grew, they noticed something disturbing. Their lives began mirroring the photograph. The children, once vibrant, grew withdrawn. The parents began arguing over trivial matters, their laughter replaced by silence. One stormy night, the youngest child, Emma, disappeared from her room. Panic ensued as they searched the house, but she was nowhere to be found. In a last, desperate attempt, they rushed to the framed picture. What they saw twisted their hearts. The family in the photo now had an empty spot where Emma stood. Realizing the curse, they smashed the frame, but it was too late. The photograph faded, and with it, the echoes of their child's voice vanished, leaving them forever haunted by their grim fate.
Scary Story 2.
The night was thick with tension as radio host Ben Turner flipped on the mic for his late-night show. He had spent years in the studio, but tonight felt different. A chilling wind batted against the building, and the call-in lines buzzed with excitement. Suddenly, a frantic caller broke through. "You have to stop the broadcast. It's not safe." The voice was distorted, trembling with fear. Ben, intrigued but wary, pressed for details. The caller insisted that something sinister lurked in the shadows of the town, something that had been there for decades but was awakening. "The old factory at the edge of town. They're coming for you, Ben." A rush of adrenaline surged through him. Was this a prank or something darker? He laughed nervously, dismissing it as a hoax. But as he continued, strange noises began seeping through the static. Then one by one, the other callers began to scream, their cries mingling with static as the lights flickered ominously. Panic spread through the studio. Suddenly, the power cut out. In the darkness, a heavy silence fell. Then a whisper echoed through the void. "We've been waiting for you, Ben." The line went dead. The broadcast ended, but the horror had just begun.
Scary Story 1.
On a foggy autumn night, Tom drove home along a desolate stretch of highway. The moon hung low, casting eerie shadows, when he spotted a figure by the roadside. Clad in a tattered coat, the gaunt figure raised a hand, signaling for a ride. Against his better judgment, Tom pulled over. As the stranger climbed in, an unsettling chill filled the car. The figure remained silent, staring vacantly out the window, its face obscured by the darkness. Tom, nervously glancing at the rearview mirror, could see only the empty road behind them. Minutes passed in oppressive silence until the stranger pointed toward a narrow dirt lane. Tom hesitated, but compliance felt necessary. The road twisted into the woods, and the temperature plummeted. Suddenly, the figure whispered, "Stop here." As Tom complied, he felt a surge of dread. Turning to speak, he found the seat empty, the door swinging wide open. Panic surged through him. Heart racing, he jumped out, but the figure had vanished. In the distance, he heard a woman's anguished cry echo through the trees. Chills swept down his spine as he realized the truth. The phantom hitchhiker wasn't looking for a ride. She was searching for her lost soul.